Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Empowered Podcast. I am your host, Deanna Deacon, and I'm so happy that you are here. I know I say that every time, but I mean it. I'm so grateful that you keep coming back. I'm so grateful that you take time out of your day to show up here and listen or watch or just engage with these conversations that are occurring, because I believe that it's in the sharing of stories and in the sharing of self that we learn more about who we are, who we desire to be, and we step more and more deeply into our own inner resilience and our empowered woman. And speaking of empowered women, I have a very special guest for you today. I'm going to have her introduce herself. Please, I know she can't hear you, but just open your heart and give some love out to Miss Beautiful Ecko. Welcome, Ecko.
Thank you. My ancestral name is Kauea. My English name is Ecko. I was born into the Nlaka'pamux Nation, raised with the Shishak Nation on the Sunshine Coast, and I'm calling in today from Pentlatch Territory on Vancouver Island. I'm a mother of two. I am a daughter of a residential school survivor and cycle breaker for my two young sons. I'm a digital media and performing artist working through the disciplines of music, sound, film, spoken word, singing, hip hop, and youth program facilitation. Thank you.
Oh, girl, you got a lot going on. Oh, we are so honored to have you here. And I'm just really excited to dive a little bit deeper into each part of your story. What do you feel right now is on your heart to share the most? What feels really real and true for you on your heart to share with everyone listening and watching right now in this moment?
I'm really feeling the need to connect with other moms who are raising businesses and babies.
Yeah.
It is just a constant, holy crap, what am I doing? And I've been really drawn to other mothers' stories and how they're getting by right now. Because this stretch that we've gone through over the last 3 months is like, that was a really hard push to homeschool and entrepreneur and artist and raise a toddler and be a daycare. And then we're going into the summer months now where it's like, we can do this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And interesting too, because I know in some places things like summer camps and activities for kids are not open, or even if they are, there's not as much capacity. Therefore, perhaps something that you would have done in the past in the summer to get a little bit of that space or time to yourself or for your business is not accessible right now because of this wonderful COVID situation that we're in.
Very interesting times for sure.
Yeah. And what have you found for you so far? What has been like the guiding light for you? What has allowed you to keep just making it happen and keeping committed to your business and keeping committed obviously to your family? And what has been your guiding light? What has been pulling you through?
So the last 3 months has actually provided the biggest opportunities for my business. So I didn't introduce my business.
Yeah, tell us about your business.
My business is Sacred Matriarch Productions, and it's digital media storytelling woven with ancestral knowledge. And as soon as COVID hit, I had a whole bunch of people reach out to me because my skill set is really well utilized for this time that everyone's going through. And so I've had to make a whole bunch of massive pivots to try and figure out, okay, how do I adapt to this new world that we're trying to live in? And the amount of positive feedback and the requests that I'm getting are what's driving me to keep going. And also remembering that my children are only young for a few years and I really need to enjoy this time as well. So it's just this constant balancing game of trying to stay sane in every area.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing in that too is, for those of you who are listening and watching, you've heard me talk before about the balance of masculine and feminine energy. And that's really what I'm hearing from you too, is it's that dance and that balance of having the structure and having the discipline and having the strategic times for family, for business, for growth, for self-care, all of those pieces, and being able and willing to flow with what is present, being able and willing to flow with what's occurring, especially with children when you may have a plan, but they're not always going to stick to that plan. And businesses too, the same thing happens.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. So I do a lot of like workshops with children and youth, and it's very, very much the same thing. Is like you go in with full understanding that it's going to go exactly the way it needs to go, and you just have to go with it.
Yep, totally. And I think for me too, personally, that's been one of the greatest gifts I've given to myself is doing the work to let go of the need for control.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing process. I mean, I can't say that I'm fully embodied in it, but especially as a business owner, and I'm going to assume as a mama, you have to be willing to go with the flow. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling your hair out every single day, trying to have that ounce of control when we don't have any. We don't have control. We didn't know that COVID was coming. Perhaps some people might have predicted it. That's okay. We didn't know it was coming. We didn't know this would be what it would look like. I'm sure you hadn't thought about, well, if there's a global pandemic and everyone is stuck at home, looks like they're going to need my services more.
Yeah.
And while that's a beautiful thing, it then brings in different complications of trying to balance it all. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you for staying committed to your dreams. Thank you for staying committed to your vision and your gifts and being of service to others through your gifts and honoring your role as a mom.
Thank you.
Honoring your role as that matriarch of your family and holding everyone together in times that don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If there was, so for all the mamas and entrepreneurs that are listening, if there was something that you could say to each of them that you also want to hear for yourself, like something that your heart just desperately wants to be told or to hear or to feel, what do you think that would be? Let's share that now for you and for everybody who's listening and watching.
Yes, you can do it. And you are doing a fantastic job just as you are.
Yes, 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 yes. That is so beautiful. I love that. That is about acknowledging exactly as you are now and pulling through with the belief that nothing is greater than you. You can handle this. You are, and look at that, flows right into the theme of this month for the podcast is resiliency, which to me that sounds like, girl, you are resilient. You can handle this. You got this. Keep going.
And you are doing the best you can at this moment, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, and that's enough. It already is enough. Mm-hmm. Ecko, what does the concept or word or embodiment of resiliency mean to you in your life?
That's a word that I think about often. It's a word that I think about in most of my writings. It's a word that I think about when I do presentations. I come traditionally, culturally, I come from a line of medicine people. I also come from a line of people who have been extremely damaged from residential school. And resiliency to me is the point where both of those meet. And I embrace the trauma. I also embrace the teachings, the culture, the history that is in my blood, and combine both of them to create a better world for my children. So that is looking at my own pain, the pain of my father, of his parents, and really like unearthing all of it. So I don't want to bury it. I want to heal it. And in order to do that, we have to unearth all the things. We have to bring it up. We have to be able to observe it. So I'm learning mindfulness. I'm learning how to really just step back and look at, okay, what is that trigger? Why is it triggering me? What's happening in my body? Where am I holding it? How do I release that? And at the same time, holding in the other hand, what are my teachings? How can I embrace this more? How can I walk forward, really living every day as it's a ceremony?
That's the most beautiful description I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Mm. And I can see it and feel how powerful that is. Blending those two together and really acknowledging that nothing was for nothing, that it is, there's something in you that gets to heal, that you get to now pause and stop for the next generations, and then also accumulating and pulling in all of that wisdom and that healing that is in your blood, that comes from your lineage, and allow that to be a part of your healing and what else you pass on to others as well. I think if that summed up as the word resiliency is the most potent way I've ever heard it described. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I'm just feeling that in my heart right now.
Awesome.
How do you teach resiliency to your children?
I see that as tiny little teachings all throughout their life. And so it starts out as little things like proudly saying, my name is, and I come from. When we are able, as Indigenous people, when we are able to identify with our culture and where we come from, it grounds us in our life path. And so that's like a tiny little thing, but it's so important to our young people. It's what we call protocol. It's how we introduce ourselves to the world. And so there's these little things along the way that I try to sort of ingrain in my kids' minds. And it's learning how to hold ourselves with respect. Because when we do that, when we are able to honor our spirit and honor our own journey and our own path, then we are able to find our way back to that path much quicker. And in my mind, that is resiliency. Is, yes, we're going to sway. We're going to sway off of our path, but it's how we find our way back to that path that continues to build those building blocks of what resiliency means in our lives.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I 100% agree. I've spoken a lot in the past about emotional resiliency, and the way I describe it is about being able to come back to that 0 point or that neutral ground, so that no matter how far you go off in the pain, no matter how far you go off in the joy and the bliss and the fun and the happiness, we always come back to the neutral, because in neutral, no matter what it is that we're going through, in neutral, we can handle anything. In neutral, we already are fueled and filled with everything that we need to make it through whatever is about to occur.
Yes.
And I love what you shared about teaching your children how to introduce themselves, because even when you introduce yourself, I can feel that strength. I can feel that anchoring into, this is who I am. It is not a question. It is not up for debate. This is me. This is what I honor. And I absolutely loved receiving that. Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Go ahead.
My name is Luka and I come from Seychelles.
You are amazing. Thank you for introducing yourself. It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
But my language name is Eckos.
That's right.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And so this summer, or well, part of our, I refuse to homeschool my children the way that the teachers are telling me, was diving a little bit more into cultural protocol and harvesting and just spending time on the land. And so we returned to my home territory, and I watched my son, Luka, introduce himself to every single plant that he went to harvest. And it was the proudest moment of my life. And he also introduced his 2-year-old brother to every single one. And that is, if I could teach anything, it's that respect for the land, the people, anything that we are working with. It's that reciprocal relationship that we're taught from a young age we need to have. So, yeah. You're beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, Ecko, I'm in tears. I have always been so fascinated by the beautiful, what I know of, which is very little, but the magic within the Indigenous culture of connection and cyclical connection with the land, with
Mm.
Mother Earth, with the flow, with the plants, with the animals, all of it. I've just found it so fascinating and magical and beautiful and empowering, and every beautiful word I can think of, and just that brought me to tears, knowing that is, you are allowing that to transpire into your children and witnessing it within them and feeling that pride within yourself. That how old, he's 7?
7.
7.
Yeah.
And garnering such deep respect for this incredible earth that we live on and the magic and the potency within it. Girl, you are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Whew, okay. Sorry for you podcast listeners, because we're just having a lot of moments, but hopefully the energy as well. Ecko, would you be willing to share with us a bit more about your work and your mission and your vision within your work?
Yeah. So I have been a performing artist since I was 13. I'm 30 now, and it's been this like crazy journey of it's kind of been my coping mechanism for most of my childhood and teenage years. Being able to write and express through creativity is literally what saved my life. I attempted suicide at the age of 13, and thank goodness didn't complete it, because there has been so much that's happened since those attempts as a teenager. And every time I was able to come back to what somewhat felt like my normal self was through creating. As Indigenous youth, there's this like internal turmoil that we go through, and we don't understand it. It's just this like crazy, crazy world that's happening within us, and it's really confusing. So when I started to come out of that a little bit as a young adult, I was like, I would have to do more. I have to do more, and I don't understand how. So I got a scholarship for the Art Institute of Vancouver. It was a small one. I still had to get a massive student loan, which is ridiculous. But in 2016, I graduated from the Art Institute of Vancouver with a diploma in professional recording arts. In 2017, I received the Fred Sherratt Music Council Award for Outstanding Recording Arts and Sciences. The entire time I was in school, I was told by my teachers that I needed to go and get a job at some sort of already established studio, someplace where they can tell you what to do, and it's going to be long hours. I was like, well, I'm a single mom. It's not happening. I really want to do my own thing. And so with my final student project, I put it out onto social media, and I had my first contracts before I even graduated. It
Amazing.
it was just like this kind of snowball effect of putting myself out there. And the funny thing is that I had no intention of doing any sort of video work. I was there for music, I was there for audio, I was there for sound. And I ended up taking a video editing elective. And I was gifted a camera at the same time. It was just like people believing in what you are capable of before you even know what you're capable of. Yeah. So I had done this film project, and then I was hired for a video editing contract for a music festival. It was just this crazy eye-opening thing. And I have a natural curiosity to learn all the things. I have to know everything and how it works and what it does and how I can like do it better. And so the next thing I know, I'm into video, I'm into sound, I'm into like coordinating youth programs and teaching them how to do all these things. My mission is to keep building these skills so that I can return them to my communities, my Indigenous communities, where our youth are suffering, We have the highest suicide rates, and it has got to stop. There's a lot of drug and alcohol addiction that our communities are dealing with. And there are also a lot of amazing business models out there that bring these studios into communities, and they work fantastic, but then they leave. And our youth are still left with, okay, we got to create this amazing piece of art, now what? And they still return. So my long-term vision is creating sustainable programming that can exist within those communities even after I leave them. Through culture, through arts. It has been identified over and over again by the elders I work with that culture is identity and connection is the correction. So we need to establish those relationships. We need to understand who we are as Indigenous people. And in my own experience of attempting to take my life and not wanting to be here anymore, creativity was the one thing that I could count on as a coping mechanism that was healthy. So culture and creativity are my kind of like the foundation of where I'm growing from and where I hope to continue expanding my business from.
I think that is absolutely amazing and so essential. And what your elders have shared with you, that was just such a beautiful way to describe it and a beautiful statement. And from the little that I know about Indigenous culture, it is so much about story. It is so much about sharing the story of ancestors, and to not have the creativity or the space to express it, or to not maybe feel safe within it, or to not understand how, would be like that block that's holding someone back and turning to something else outside of them. You're helping to give that gift of what they already have within, to give that expression, to give that space to be. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Ecko.
Thank you.
So I have a question for you as a white girl over here. What can I do or be or learn or understand, or is there anything that I can do to help support your mission and help support bringing back that creativity of culture from my standpoint?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been asked that a few times and I don't always have an answer, but the thought that's popping up right now is helping to build safe spaces. It's really important. As an Indigenous woman, mother, artist, I've struggled a lot with not feeling safe within organizations that I work with. What does that look like when we want to empower Indigenous women to take these roles? Because ultimately this is our role. Mothering, auntying, this is our role, is to create safe spaces for our young people and for our communities. And so that would always be, I think my number one ask is help me create safe spaces. And I don't know what that looks like.
I find that really fascinating, because one of the things that I learned about myself personally last year when I hosted the Empowered Woman Conference, and I had known this, but I'd never fully seen it before, is I have a gift of holding safe space. And it is my mission in life to use that tool to its greatest capacity, to allow primarily women, but all human beings, to feel as though they matter, and that it's okay for them to share, even as you shared in terms of resiliency, that you don't have to hide your trauma. You don't have to hide your past. You don't have to hide what's going on underneath everything. Let it be a part of who you are, and share yourself and be yourself and honor who you are, and still step forward. Still step into the truth of who you are. Still step into the deeper meaning of who you are. That's my mission. And so hearing you share that with me feels validating that my heart is in the right place, as and stepping more and more deeply into that. And for everyone who's listening and watching, I hope you take that to heart, holding safe space, because it starts with you. Like, it starts with each of us as individuals, even you, Ecko, being able to come to a place where you can honor that when you were 13, you tried to commit suicide. And that's not something that you're hiding. That's not something that you are holding back from or pretending didn't happen because it's not okay or it shouldn't have happened. You're allowing it to be present. And so, ladies listening, same for you. Honor your stories, honor your culture, honor your lineage, and honor the people in your family, honor who you are. Because when you feel safer in you, it's so much easier for you to hold safe space for your children, for your family members, for your community members, for the person walking down the street that you don't know. It's a lot easier to have love and compassion for someone else when you have love and compassion for yourself inside.
100%. Yes, yes, yes.
Ecko, I love you. My heart just feels so expansive, and I feel like it's just like fully just like in embodied and engulfed in with you. Like, hi, can I just be with you? Oh, yeah. What was the name of your company again? I really love it.
Sacred Matriarch Productions.
Yeah, and you know what? I really love that too. And you had also said that, and this is what I received from it. Hopefully, it's what you meant. But as women, whether you're a mom or not, as a matriarch, it's the energy of allowing others to feel safe, the energy of holding things together, people together, experiences together. That's our gift. That's a part of who we are as women, and honoring that instead of trying to, as we were talking about before, motherhood and entrepreneurship, instead of just trying to be the best entrepreneur ever or the best mom ever, you get to amalgamate them together while still honoring the truth of what's inside of you, that your beautiful role is to allow sacred space to be in and all around you. Those people who are in your life, your family members, all those pieces, that is all a part of who each of us are and our gifts to this world.
Yes, 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 yes. And sometimes if you have to hide and eat cookies in the middle of the day, it's okay.
Yep, we've all in there. I don't know, kids and I do that. Yep, go ahead. Whatever you want to share, go for it. I feel like I'm just vibrating.
Good. The process of finding that name for my business was terrifying. I access a lot of my mission, my path, my purpose through meditation, through ceremony. And I was searching for a business name, and the word matriarch kept showing up. It's like, okay, I think I could work with that. And finally, Sacred Matriarch came to me, and I just was like, nope, absolutely not. Nope, too much responsibility. There's no way I can like level up to that. There's someone else in this world who can just, nope. And so I just got on my phone, tried to mindlessly scroll and forget what mission I was on. And and my great grandmother's face showed up on my Facebook timeline through Native American history. Her name is Shalinak. She is the last ancestor I have with an Indigenous name. I don't know what it means. And I've seen it a few times on this page. It's like, okay, so I clicked on the comments, which I've never done before. And there was a recent comment from someone saying, I have a wax cylinder recording of this woman singing. I was like, oh my God. So I messaged him right away, and he sent me the file within minutes. So here I was, this was last year, 2019, with a digital photo of my great-great-grandmother hearing her voice. I was like, okay, I hear you. Okay, done. I'm listening. I am like fully on board and I'm listening now. So I went and registered myself as Sacred Matriarch Productions, and knowing that every move I make is ingrained with my grandmother's teachings. The very first exercise I developed as a business is called Weaving with the Grandmothers. And it's a meditation that brings people into a safe place of basket weaving while understanding self-identity.
Oh, wow.
It's just been this like crazy magical journey since then, since just letting go and listening.
And Ecko, that's a beautiful story, and I'm really grateful you shared it. And I feel like that in itself even just showcases the strength and the magnitude of the matriarch, of mama, of all the mamas, and how also the fierceness, like she shows up and you realize, well, okay, whatever you say, I'll do it. And that even from being passed on, still holding you together, holding you to your vision, holding you to your mission.
It's like, I'm listening. Yes, okay.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. What a beautiful story. And that first exercise or that experience that you teach sounds incredible. And I've been feeling through this whole podcast, and I'm just going to share it publicly. And ladies who are listening, if you agree with this, I need you to send me a message and let me know. Ecko, I think we need to have you at the next Empowered Women Conference, and I think we need to have you leading us through the incredible ceremony and helping to hold that space and teaching us about Indigenous culture in a way that we can welcome it into our hearts in a way we haven't before. I feel that inside of me.
Beautiful. Yep.
Oh,
yes, please.
I feel like this conversation is really interesting. I feel like you and I are connected in an energetic way right now that is a bit beyond a lot of what can be said. So perhaps that means that at some point down the road, more will come out through, tangible words. Not that the words that we've shared aren't incredible, but I'm feeling so much do you know what I mean?
I know. I totally know. And it's really weird with the screen, but it's like it's not even here.
So I would just like each of us and everyone listening and watching, let's all just take a nice deep breath. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale through your mouth. Just take a moment to breathe into your heart. Noticing what is present, noticing what is here now in this moment. And Ecko, for us to bring this beautiful conversation to a sacred close today, what is something from your heart that wants to be shared with everybody that is listening and watching?
You are sacred. You are loved. And your story matters.
Thank you. For everyone listening and watching, I'm going to ensure that in the show notes, I include information about Ecko so you can connect with her outside of this. But for right now, I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Thank you, Ecko, for bringing your love, your heart, your mission, your vision, your truth, your authenticity, your everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much.